Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop. Welcome to this episode where I take a Matchbox Rolls Royce and I destroy it. This was a request from a subscriber who sent me a bunch of cars, and this was included, and he wanted this in a Gasland / Wasteland style build, so I am obliging. And I think it came out pretty good. As always, if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. So yeah, I don't need much convincing to destroy Matchbox, and I have a ton of extra parts from Howard over at Big Paw Garage, Camsel Designs. I can't even remember Mad Cars. I've got a bunch of different stuff that I just haven't been using because I haven't been doing a lot of builds that are Gasland styles. So the first thing I'm doing is there's a motor from Big Paw Garage, and I'm not nothing is live yet as far as these were samples, so I can't give away any info on where to purchase it. But as soon as it becomes available, I will make sure that I share it with you guys. But I love the motor. The scale was perfect for this, and I'm not going to go crazy with this. I want to. Granted, I'm using 3D parts, but in the end, it's all about. I've said this before, and I know I'm kind of rambling here a little bit. But the great part about these kind of builds is there's no rules. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. And lately I'm in a funk. I'm just, with everything going on, I'm just kind of out of it. And to do a build like this is just really fun because I don't care how it looks. The worse it looks, the better it is. So it's relaxing to do these. So after taking it apart and kind of getting an idea what I want to do, I'm just inspecting everything to see what I'm going to be cutting out, what it's going to affect if I cut it out. The rear end I'm using is a whole package from Camsel Designs. It's a 2-piece rear end housing with the axle tubes and the leaf springs, and it all kind of goes together. The rear end housing gets snapped together, and then it snaps into both leaf spring ends. You can see right there. So once it's all together, I just kind of line it up. I'll put a little bit of glue on the top so you won't see it when it's on, only because I'm sloppy. and again, this is supposed to be just something that's kind of fun. So I'm using the wheels from Big Paw Garage, and I am taking this brass rod it's the same size as axles for Hot Wheels, and I'm just going to use that because I want it to stick out further. So the issue I kind of ran into was the holes on the wheels were slightly larger, not for a regular axle. Like if you cut an axle in half, which I do on the front wheels, it fits fine with that peened end. But normally with the brass, you can just kind of crimp the end and it won't go through the wheel. This I needed something a little bit bigger, so I had these jewelry beads I had bought when I first started customizing. I've never used them. I think I've used them once. So I ended up using that as my stop. That's like a positive stop. So I ended up using that on both ends of the wheels, just to give it a little bit more support, and because you'll notice once I put it all together, the actual axle sticks out a good 1/4 inch on each side total from the actual the spot where it goes in. So it's maybe a 1/16 past the wheel itself overall, because it's a deep dish wheel. And I wanted that almost like a spike, so it worked out really good. See, there you can see the actual Hot Wheels axles that have the peened end. That's what I'm using there, and it works perfectly. So I'm using and making an actual axle tube out of aluminum pipe that will just sit underneath the chip. See, the problem is with these kind of Gasland builds, you want it to be somewhat off-roadish, and Well, you don't have to, but in this case, that's what I'm after. So trying to put a bigger size wheel inside, it just doesn't work. So the best option is either do like I did on the back and raise it down with, aftermarket leaf springs or make your own, or you can actually just take the axle tube and mount it underneath the chassis, and that'll just by default raise it up. What I ended up doing is, even though I did this and I'm mounting it underneath the chassis, I actually had to put some styrene in between because it wasn't enough and it was hitting the wheel wells, and I didn't want to hack out the wheel wells like I usually do. But there, it goes together nice. So you can see right there how the engine's going to fit. I don't show all of it because it's boring. I'm pretty much just going to punch down some holes after I marked out the overall size of the engine, and then I'm just going to drill it out, kind of file it. I'm not going crazy. It's not super square. It's not supposed to be, but it allows me to drill because it's pretty decent size. I think I drill like 5-6 holes, and by the time I'm done, I don't need much. A little bit with the jeweler's saw, and I'm good to go. So I know I'm going to put everything back together. I'm actually going to use the windshield. So you can kind of see there's only one post on this. The front just hooks on the actual casting itself. So as usual, you can see me kind of fiddling around and fitting things. And that's what it looks like with the wheels on it. Now it's like, what do you want to add to it? And you can make your own weapons. You can do whatever you want. I happen to have this bag because I bought a bunch of stuff that I never use, like I said. And I'm just kind of mixing and matching stuff. I know it doesn't go together, but I'm just making it go together. Again, have fun. If you sit down to do this and it stresses you out, you're doing it wrong. The whole goal is just to unwind, chill out, not think about anything. Even if it's for an hour or a half an hour each day. If you're like me, I'm stressed the hell out. I'm stressed out with work. I'm stressed out with this virus thing. Not intentionally, that's just who I am. And this just helps me unwind. So I've also got this gas tank that I'm putting on the back. I'm just gluing crap on because with these types of builds, the more layers you have, it's all about depth. And it's, think of everything in 3D, and just a flat surface is boring. So here I'm looking at grill guards, and I'm trying different ones, and finally I found one, and I just got to cut out a little bit so it fits over the actual bumper that I'm leaving on, and that way it's definitely more realistic. Otherwise it would stick out too far and there was really no surface to glue it. And then I found these headers. I don't know what they're off of. They were in my box of engine parts, and I believe it came off of something Muscle Machinist. I'm not sure. Definitely not Hot Wheels. I won't say that, but I don't think it's Hot Wheels. So I wanted it sticking out of the hood. So I'm just trying to find something that fits. And what I don't like about it is the way it just kind of just goes to a point. It's stupid. It looks horrible. So I got some styrene tubing that I want to put over the end like a collector. And in order to do that, I have to kind of grind down the end of the pipes where it comes into a point. And maybe it went into something in a casting or something. That's why they just kind of dropped it off like that. But for me to be able to use it and have it look halfway decent, I just have to grind it down. Then I can put my styrene over it. And I got a nice collector, and it looks kind of cool. So, again, you got to use what you have. Just get creative. I usually just dump everything I have out, and I make it work. The hardest part is starting. Once you put one thing on, and it starts to all come together, it's just getting that first thing. And 99% of the time when I start, I don't have a freaking clue. At this point, I'm still kind of guessing what I want to do. And again, this isn't supposed to be like the greatest as my bag of stuff, spare parts and extra styrene and stuff like that, and brass and crap like that. But the whole point is just to start. And once you start, it'll come together. You can only do so much by looking at it until you actually start gluing parts together. You can always take things apart, But yeah, this is just supposed to give ideas of what to do. Maybe if it sparks something. I mean, I am by far not even close to being good at doing this type of build. I mean, there's people on Facebook and Instagram that are killing it. I just don't have the time or the patience to do that. So you can see I've got a bunch of little scrap squares and pieces of corrugated styrene, straight styrene. I'm just gluing stuff on, just like there was a piece of rot or it got shot up, and now they're putting some extra armor plating type of metal on to cover up the holes. And I'm just gluing stuff on as I start to see it and think that it looks okay. Again, it's all about personal preference, ideas that you might have, so you can see the collectors there. I think it looks really cool. The only thing that was missing is because I used the Camsel Designs rear end with the leaf springs. You definitely need a drive shaft. So I'm just taking a piece of, I think it's 1/8 tubing from evergreen styrene, and I'm just going to make myself a drive shaft because it just looked ridiculous without it. And having that, I never throw anything away. I keep every piece of little plastic. I mean, to a fault. I keep everything. It works out good. So I'm going to use that liquid mask on the windows that I want to keep. If you guys have been watching me, you know about my Wicked Pisser Jar, which is when I hit 14,000 subscribers, and I'm more than halfway there from when I started at 12,000. I'm going to give away all the contents of this jar to one subscriber. You have to be a subscriber. So I've added a bunch of different things. Every week I try to add one thing or two things. Some of it's been donated for this particular reason from subscribers. It's coming out to be a pretty decent sized package. That's what she said. But yeah, this is all great stuff, and somebody's going to really get a kick-ass box of stuff. So looking forward to giving it away. This week I'm adding this. It's a Johnny Lightning. It's got rubber tires. It's good for parts, or it's good to customize or leave as is. So I took the Chaos Black and painted the actual car, everything. And now it's time to detail. And because it's black, I could have gone with a silver, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. I just like the black. It just gives me a good base to work with. And I'm using some, lead Belcher for all my aluminum and silver and anything like that, which are my collectors, my engine scoop, the certain parts of the gun. I'll do some of the windows that I'm pretending are armor plated because I covered them. And anything on the weapon on top and little details, I'll use the silver. And then I've got this bronze, which I believe is Retributor armor. I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of was going with a dark in bronze industrial look. I don't know if I nailed it or not. I'm horrible with colors. My wife picks my clothes half the time because I can't tell the difference. But anyways, I wanted the exhaust pipes to be that color. I had this skull decal that I put on the front that I'm going to end up weathering anyways. So the rest, I do this a couple times with the lead Belcher. I'll actually take and, excuse me, dry brush a lot. So I got this Vallejo rust color set. It's supposed to be for the airbrush, but I've done this before. I kind of mix and match, and I'll dry brush that on as well, just to give it a little bit of weathering as a base. And then I take the Typhus Corrosion with the Rise of Rust, which if you watch any of my videos, I do it in all these. I swear by it. It's awesome. It gives it the right texture to rust ratio. You can add more of the Rise of Rust. It's got to be dry brushed on, but you can add more or less. It all depends on how thick you want it, and you can add. Rust is it's not the same, so you can change it up in different aspects of the car, different areas. Some can be rusted more than others, just by adding more to it. But you have to dry brush it, otherwise it just doesn't look. It just comes out orange. So, as a reminder. Again, I'm going from crappy to crappy, so bear with me. This is a Matchbox Rolls-Royce Nothing fancy. I'm sure most would love to get one of these restored, but I don't restore. So, and this is what he sent me to do, so it worked out all right. This is what I ended up with. I just added the front in the back guards are brass. That was the brass piece. I lost that piece of footage, or I was a dumbass and forgot to save it, or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, this is what I ended up with. These types of projects, you just have fun. That's the whole point of these. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. If it's great, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. You'll do better on the next one. But hey, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you're all staying safe, and I will catch you on the next one.